Lastly, I modeled my three-dimensional body model. Now I want to continue working by checking the main dimensions of the three-dimensional body model. I will select the surface, then I will leave only the surface on the screen with the isolate objects comment. Then I want to open the control points of my surface with the control points on option. Then let's select a control points from the top and enter the edit menu. Then I click on control points, select control points and select vertical. This comment will select all vertically connected control points. Currently all control points in the vertical direction that are connected to each other are selected. Then I get help from two-dimensional view. I click right view. As I approach the control points, I will see that they are not all in the zero line. We need to keep all of the control points here at the zero level. If you don't, half the surface is on the screen right now. When we reflect to other half the side, the middle side will be empty. Therefore, the control points here must be exactly at the 0 point. We call 0 point on the y-axis, the center line direction. When you look at the center line direction from the right view, from the lowest point of the boat to the highest point, it is actually an imaginary line that divides the boat in half. All control points must be in the center line plane. To move control points to the center line plane, from the transform section I can click on set XYZ coordinates option. Then on which axis I want to move, I just have to tick that box. We are carrying on the y-axis. The y-axis becomes exactly the axis on the starboard section. That's why I choose Y only. Then align to world and align to C-plane options at the bottom. The coordinate plane may differ in C-plane. So C-plane, if we choose 6, we name the grid you see here as C-plane. The locations of C-plane can be changed. It will automatically change in XYZ when you change it. If you are transferring to a three-dimensional object to 2 dimensions according to C-plane, you should select the C-plane option. But if you see on the left, if you are transferring 2 dimensions on Rhino on coordinates axis plane, you must select the Align to World option. Then I select OK and exactly to the 0 point. I select 0 and click Enter. All checkpoints now. Move to center line plane. Now let's switch back to the perspective view. After then, let's choose the control points at the bottom and edit meditation. Control points, select control points. This time I should select U option. When I use this option, it will select all horizontal control points. All of the control points here must be in the center line plane. I mean point. Otherwise, when I mirror the hull of the side, there will be a gap in the middle of the bottom of the boat. Of course, you don't want this gap. Right option and transform. I click XYZ coordinates. Again, I want to make a move on the y-axis. The Align to World option is selected. I choose all, 0 and enter. I move the control points exactly to the 0 point. Then let's shrink the right view. Then we can do a check on the profile view. Make sure you do this check yourself, because you don't want the control points to go out of 0 point at the bottom. So I'm talking about that 0 point, line and 0. And I draw a straight line. Then let's shift the straight lines a little to the left. Then let's open the control points again. You don't want any of control points to land below this line, because the lowest limit of the boat was the 0 point on the z-axis. At the same time, the line you see in the yellow color is called the pedestal line. A pedestal line is a line drawn from the bottom of the boat, imaginary line. It used to indicate the lowest point of the boat. We don't have any problems here. We can delete this line. Then, we can control the neck of the boat. Let's choose Align again. I enter the line command. Then I choose bottom, then top, I draw a line. Then I choose the line. Then I click Linear Dimension command. The boat is now exactly 74 meters and 39 millimeters long. 39.48 millimeters. Actually, I should reduce the size. When you model a body from 3D lines plan, such as minor errors may occur. You should fix this error yourselves. I want to move 39.48 millimeters of surface back. I open checkpoint. Then I click on control points, click OK. I'm typing 39.48 here, and because the arrow is pointing to the right. And I will choose minus because I want to move it to left too. And then finish by clicking enter. After I can get off the line. Now I have nothing to do with the line. Linear dimensions. I move the point exactly to the bow of the boat. Now I click on linear dimension again. And our boat length is now exactly 74 meters. We arrange the boat size. Let's look the spaces of the boat. Right view. And then control points. I think that my width should finish in there. Let's check with linear dimension. I will choose point and then center line place. Then I complete the linear dimension. Exactly 6.5 meters. Our boat width was also 13 meters, so it will be 6.5 meters on left and 6.5 meters on right. That's why I need to move the control points on left exactly to this level. I can do this like this. Let's select all the control points. I will also choose the control points here. Later, I click on Transform again. I click on Set XYZ Coordinates option. I want to move these control points in Y-axis and Z-axis. Z-axis will be vertical axis. So I'm doing this so that they all line up. And Y-axis will be exactly to port to starboard axis. I choose OK. Then let's check our width again. I deleted the linear dimension and click the linear dimensions command again. Point, and I click the center line plane. Then my full width has been set to 6.5 meters. Next, let's check the height of the boat in the direction of the deck. I can do this from the front view. Front, line, 0. I draw a straight line from 0 point. Then I average. I click green arrow and I write 8.2 meters and enter. I had to write 7.2 meters, that is 8,200. We are in millimeters. I write 8,200, then let's select all the control points. We can do this more comfortably in right view. I select all control points and again, front. I deselect the line by clicking the Control key. Then I click on Transform, Set XYZ Coordinate option again. This time I only want to move it in Z-axis. We are currently adjusting the height. I choose Z, I say OK, and I choose exactly line alignment. The height all over the boat was also 8.2 meters. I press the S key. Now we have adjusted the main dimensions of our boat as we want. At this stage, I want to talk about something. And as for lines plan, I want to choose lines plan. Hull with inlines plan given as maximum of 13 meters. But I want to pay attention to this. Our 3 dimensions model is our deck alignment. I enter the linear dimension command. Then I draw a linear dimension from deck level to 0 point. Our main deck is at 7.2 meters, so this means that maximum width is not actually 13 meters. So, Again, talk about body model. I'm drawing a line from 0 point and horizontal. Then I want to move it up 7.2 meters. Then I enter the linear dimension command. Since it actually says 13 meters to the max width exactly, the maximum width was supposed to be exactly 13 meters here. So here we are supposed to measure 6.5 meters, but we measure 6,341 millimeters. The width value is always taken from deck level. In other words, the maximum width of the boat is not 6.5 meters at the moment. Lines plan. The maximum width is given as 13 meters, but it's misspelled here, because the width value is measured from level of the deck. We can also check this from the cross-section view of the line plans. Linear dimension command, this is exactly 7,200 millimeters high. I made a dimension here with linear dimension. I see that the width is 6,380 millimeters. So actually the width should be 6,380 millimeters, not 6.5 meters. Half width is 6.5 meters. Or you can see the width as 13 meters. Just wanted to tell you so you know it's actually lower. Let's back body again. I want to repeat it again. I've selected the body now. We currently have half the trunk. I enter mirror and mirror command. I choose 0. I get the symmetry by swiping it up. That was the whole boat. Since we are talking about half of it, I set 6.5 meters to the width. So if you measure it all, the width will be now 13 meters at the top. Totally 13 meters. I choose delete. I want to delete places which I created. Then I'm in the perspective view. I want to finish this lesson here. In the next lesson, we will continue to work the fractures on the surface. See you in the next lesson.